Shalom everyone, it's called Torah, and today we will discuss Parashat Tisa, which probably one of the most focal points of this parasha is unfortunately one of the most terrible sins that the Jewish people committed, the golden calf, Egel HaZahav. The commentators ask so many questions about this chet, about this sin, try to understand the logic behind it, try to understand the consequences of it. But today I would like to focus really and to zoom in on the consequences of it, not necessarily from the punishment perspective, but rather from what I will call the circles of influence. And what do I mean by that? We all know that every action we take, it may be very private or it can be public. It causes what I will call circles of influence. What we do influence others. It influences other people knowingly or not knowingly. People are affected with what we do. Relationships change. They can be better relationships or, unfortunately, can be worse relationships after someone commit a sin or take an action or make a decision. When we think about the era, the time after the golden calf, we see something very interesting. God says to Moshe, "Let me annihilate the people, and I will make from you a great nation." Hashem's anger flare up against the Jewish people. And he wants Moshe to lead a new generation, a new nation that will come out from Moshe. So obviously one circle of influence is Hashem's relationships to the Jewish people. Moshe stands up strong and says to Hashem, "Please God, don't do it. Please reconsider," and God reconsider. So Moshe's relationship with the people becomes more of a father who cares so much for his children and is being willing to die for them. As Moshe said to Hashem, "If you don't listen to me, erase me from the name, erase my name from the Torah that you're going to give to the Jewish people." However, when Moshe goes down, he descends from the mountain. He sees the people dancing around the golden calf. He breaks the luchot, the tablets, or he throws them from his hands. And he's angry and he smashed this golden calf, makes them to drink, gives them a tremendous rebuke, goes up to the mountain, asks for forgiveness, comes down, and then what? Moshe made the decision to do two things. One was totally his decision. He took his tent and he pitched it outside of the camp. So now everyone who would like to talk to Moshe, everyone who would like to approach him and to ask him to get advice or ruling or guidance, will need to go and see him. Moshe does not dwell anymore in the midst of the Jewish people. He's a little bit of an outsider. And when he went down from Mount Sinai, after granting the forgiveness from God, the Torah describes at the end of this parsha that Moshe had to put a veil when he spoke to the Jewish people because his face was shining and radiating light, so they couldn't comprehend it, they couldn't stand it, so he had to put a veil, which definitely symbolizes the distance between Moshe and the people. So let's take a look and analyze what's exactly happened. The circle of influence of that sin influenced this very interesting triangle. The relationship between God and the people changed, between Moshe and God, and then Moshe and the people. One action that created three immediate circles of influence. And according to our tradition, this sin, this chet of the golden calf, influenced generations to come. So what's the message? I think the message is the importance of our actions. How careful we need to be when we make a decision, when we make a statement, and definitely when we act. We need to understand and try to consider, try to calculate how my action going to influence others? If it's a good decision, if it's a good act, let's try to see how many circles we can influence and include and bring in. And if God forbids it's not a good action, try to minimize the circle of influence. The importance of our thoughts, of our sentences and statements, and the importance of our actions are not only affecting us and our immediate little close circle. It affects tremendous amount of people, knowingly and not knowingly. This is one of the tremendous messages of our parsha. Let's take it to heart and make good decisions, implement it in good actions that will influence as many people as we can. Thank you.